What's up, everybody? What's up, and welcome back to On the Warpath. Your boy Sanchez 405 with you. If you're new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button, you hit the bell so you get the notifications anytime there is new content posted. And this is the first of weekly agendas or weekly streams that I plan on doing here during the off season. And we're going to talk about the offensive coordinator. We'll talk about what's going on, defense coordinator. Give you my thoughts on old David Blau being named the offensive coordinator for the Burgundy and Gold, and then where this defensive coordinator search is going. They interviewed Al Harris, and why do you really hope that it's not him, Patrick? I'd like to hear your answer. Is it just because he wasn't a good head coach? Doesn't mean that good head coaches or bad head coaches are bad coordinators, and vice versa. So, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get Paul in here, which I have regrettably forgot to send him the the stream notification. So, give me a second here. Let's see here. Gummy. Let's see. Let's send that to him. I don't remember which one it is, but I sent that to him here. So we'll have him on here. But yeah, we'll dive into it. Let's see what we got here. Really bad time in Atlanta. Okay. He was a head coach. That doesn't make anything to do about his defensive coordinator prowess, right? What's up, bro? Are you surprised DQ is it seems to be going with a lot of inexperienced guys? Um I will say that it does concern me, and that you would want at least somebody who's experienced on one side of the ball calling plays. Paulie has an interesting take on uh, the format of the head coaches now in the league. I don't want to spoil his thunder there, but I thought it was pretty interesting. But yeah, it does surprise me that you go with a David Blau who was your assistant quarterbacks coach this last year, and then he moved up the chamber with the new job that Tavita Pritchard got as he became the head coach of the Stanford Cardinals. So he's been charged with turning that program around. So I did think it was interesting there. You know, very familiar with Mike McDaniel, who left Miami, who was fired after it looked like John Harbaugh went there. And that's another thing. John Harbaugh is now the head football coach of the New York Giants. But yeah, to your point, um, RVA point of view, bro, is good. Always good to hear from you. Is yeah, I'm surprised because it feels like this could possibly be a lame duck year for Dan Quinn, and it's early to say it because it's just January, but it does feel like it. If it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, guess what? That's not a horse in your backyard. So, yeah, I am a little surprised in that respect. What's up, Santiago? How you doing, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, I am mildly surprised on that. And y'all make sure y'all come up in here, make sure you hit the like button. And if you're new, make sure you click that subscribe button. Help us out. Help me get back in the algorithm because this is something I'm going to try to do every week, hopefully on Wednesdays, because I like alliteration. I like Warpath Wednesday, but just couldn't do it. A lot of stuff happened. I had to do some newspaper writing yesterday, so I had to get that out to my editor and everything. So that kind of subsided. Or we will do this yesterday. It happened. Don, what's up, man? How are you? Yeah, so let's dive into this. The defensive coordinator spot, right? They've interviewed, I think it was 6 people, including Brian Flores. And get this, let me get this clear. And I know hindsight's 2020. That was a fever dream. Brian Flores was never coming to Washington, and I felt like with that because I think he's so overqualified to come here, and I like Dan Quinn. I think I think he deserves another shot at this. Um, but he's overly qualified in the realms of how he's held everything down. Brian Flores has, and I think he would have got a head coaching job if he didn't have a lawsuit with the league. And we know how the league is with lawsuits and everything. And then if you are of a certain perception, it may be harder for you to get a job. That's just being honest. That's not conspiracy theory. That is, we see our eyes are telling us what to see. And that's it. And I think they said, well, people were shocked that he hasn't had a job yet. I'm not. I'm not. This league is vindictive. It's vindictive. It's small. It's petty. And they don't forget. Those owners don't forget. I think it was just that could be a good suggestion. But I'll tell you something. When I was at work one time, we had I was on a hiring committee, and we were hiring for this position. It was a high position, and there was one candidate we liked. She was out of her element, but we liked her, and it just came found out she stayed at the house. She went through all our interview process, and she basically used us to get better money. That's what Brian Flores did. That's exactly what Brian Flores did. And I don't blame him. Why would you leave Minnesota? Heck, he might have a chance to be the head coach in Minnesota if Kevin O'Connell falters with his third consecutive losing season up there in Minnesota, whereas they lost last year. Well, excuse me, not third, second consecutive losing season. That's a question. And they have not won a playoff game during his tenure. And that coaching class from 2022 is looking like a rough shot, as there's only 2 coaches left in that with their original team, and that's O'Connell and then Todd Bowles, who really was knocking on death's door here this past year. They had to fire his offense coordinator and removed a lot of his staff. So, in another way, it does seem like it's one of those lame duck seasons out there. But that just get that started. And Brian Flores was not coming here. Brian Flores was not coming here. And so that leaves us with second degree inexperienced coaches and maybe some former head coaches that got jobs because Raheem Morris, Jonathan Gannon has interviewed for the job. I think Raheem has too. Let me see here. Yeah. I think Carl Scott too. Let's see. Mm-mm. I know they interviewed Joe Cullen from the Chiefs, which is Chris Jones's position coach. So that I don't. I think that was just kind of lip service there. I don't think he's been a defensive coordinator anywhere. I think Carl Scott, who is the passing game coordinator in Seattle, he is on. He is on that short list also. But he's in a weird spot. Dan Quinn's in a weird spot just from the outside looking in, too, that you want to hire a guy that's got some qualifications, but you don't want somebody to look. better than you on your side of the ball that you're responsible for. I mean, you can say whatever you want to. You say, "Hey, I want the best coaches here. I want it," but on the offense side of the ball, you might want to do. You could do that, but on this defense side of the ball, woo, mm. Let's see here. I'm trying to find this. I mean, I really like Jim Schwartz. Back on the 12th, they interviewed Jonathan Gannon, who's on the list as well. Patrick Graham from the Raiders. He's from that Belichick school of thought. Denard Wilson, who was in Tennessee. These are the guys. These are the guys. And then maybe Raheem Morris. We'll see. I at this point I don't care. I think, and then we know Al Harris interviewed today, and he wanted to Quinn wanted to bring Al Harris last year to Washington, but he was blocked, and then of course McCarthy got fired, so the whole coaching staff was let out the door. And I mean, we know Al Harris. What he's his forte is the secondary. He played at a high level, played in Green Bay for several years, and was a good corner for them. Remember him and Mike McKenzie? They were a good duo there, and he can help coach up Mikey Sammers still, help coach up. He can help coach up Trey Amos and everything. And, I mean, maybe he can go to the shooting range with Marshawn Lattimore. Uh, I don't know, but that would be his forte is the secondary. And the Bears' secondary improved with him last year. So those are some things to kind of think of. Now, he hasn't called defensive plays. Now, and that's maybe this is also an impasse. Maybe these guys they're interviewing is like, hey, I want to call the defensive plays. Maybe Dan Quinn should be calling the defensive plays. Exactly. I just saw your comment here saying that's true. Dan Quinn wants to be involved with the defense, which sure, not sure any coach wants that. But I mean, that's true. I mean, Jonathan Gannon is he this great defensive mind, or was he beneficial of the talent that they had around them in Philadelphia? Those are questions to be asked. Raheem Morris had some good years with the Rams. That's basically what got him the job in Atlanta the second time around. Maybe he's a better defense coordinator. I mean, he was a bright up and coming mind when he was in Tampa, right? He succeeded Mike Tomlin after a couple of years there in Tampa Bay. So we'll see. I'm not too early. I'm concerned, but where we just had it's like a coaching influx right now. It's like nobody wants to go anywhere, and then you still have four teams that really, for the most part, none of their assistants are really being looked at as serious head coaches. I mean, I haven't seen anything about anybody in Seattle. Well, I think the Kubiak boy had been looked at, and maybe that's what some of these teams are waiting on. But there are a lot of coaching opening this late in the process. There are. Let me see. What are there? 6? Let me see here. And see, Baltimore just hired their new head coach, their former defense coordinator, and Jesse Minter. Well, Michigan defense coordinator. He was the assistant coach um, for Baltimore in from 27 to 2020, and now he's the head coach. He's been the defense coordinator in LA the last 2 years, and he was Michigan's defense coordinator when they went to the national championship and won. He's been at Vanderbilt, so um, hopefully Baltimore they got. See, I'm kind of disappointed because I like this guy's story and what he's done, but I feel I'm ready to see Baltimore fail. Patricia needs to come to. I'm good. I'm good with Matt Patricia. Good with Matt Patricia. Great. Nah, we don't need a Matt. We don't need Matt Patricia. Yeah, no Patricia. I, where's Matt Patricia been successful at? I mean, Ohio State. We give him Ohio State and in New England. But I mean, really, has Patricia been successful anywhere else? It's kind of like Josh McDaniels. I mean, granted, he's lost a lot of weight. Good for him. Maybe he might get a head coaching opportunity in the college. Right? Yeah, he was a senior defensive assistant, took a year off, and now he's Ohio State's defense coordinator. God, I forgot when he was in Detroit. I mean, he hasn't really been anywhere either. But I can stay away from. I'd stay away from Matt Patricia. Unless Bill Belichick was coming to Washington. Then I said, yeah, let's bring him on here. Let's bring him on. It would be interesting, but I'm not good with it. What's up, Alex? How you doing, man? How you doing? And then, like Ohio says, I remember how Patricia disrespect. I remember how Patricia disrespected a lot of them boys out there in Detroit. Remember Belichick like made him the offense coordinator too. That's funny. Yeah, that's where we're probably leaning to is Al Harris, right? Because if anything, we know one Dan Quinn loves familiarity. He loves his friends. He loves his family. He loves to be hugged. He loves to be comfortable. But and sometimes, and I feel like we're in an impasse too here. Like when Jay Gruden needed to find a defense coordinator to replace um, Jim Haslett, he had slam dunk would have been Wade Phillips, right? Wes Phillips was an assistant coach on the team. It slam dunk. He could have coached with his son. And he could have got these guys. He has a track record of doing more with less. But you know what? He was too scared. He was too afraid to be vulnerable. Was Jay Gruden, and he it just wasn't serious. It wasn't serious. It was unserious, as the kids would say, and that's unfortunate. Missed out on a great opportunity there. I think that defense would have been dynamic, and if we really splitting it, we might be splitting hairs here. But when has this defense even been functional? And when I mean functional, I mean that they consistently get stops. What, since Greg Blosh was here? Kids, that's been 16 years ago. So I tired of seeing our defenses look bad. The only time our defense looks good is when they are forcing turnovers. They just can't get off the field. They're going to give a lot of yardage. Only time we're good, we'll be in the bottom half of the league in total defense, but that turnover margin is really good. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Did Ron have him or did Jack Del Rio have him? And really, I feel like that 22 defense was the best one we had. And we just we had an abysmal offense. I think that by far was the best defense we had under Ron Rivera. And still, they were still plugging and playing people in square holes in the round pegs and everything, too. Ken Norton Jr., he needs to get them linebacker room. What's up, Rock, man? Happy New Year to you. All is well. Hope all is well with you. Something feels off about the process. It feels like we're so behind the good teams. I don't know if we feel like I don't know if we're so behind the good teams, right? And we define it as a good team. Um, I don't know. I feel like the whole coaching cycle is behind the eight ball because I think you've got it. It's like oh god, it's like I don't think people want to jump into these zone situations. Like some folks want to be head coaches, but they don't want to jump for the first opportunity that they see. That's like Robert Saleh, right? You go from Tennessee. Did you not learn anything with the Jets? You don't go from one. You can't turn around bad organizations just as a head coach. You're gonna need help. He ain't have no help in Tennessee. They never got the quarterback situation right. Maybe he can get the defense balling again out there in Tennessee, but I just with Amy Adams, it's just something like you go from one bad owner to the next, and he looked desperate going after that job. Yeah, I mean, yeah, something feels off about the processes, but I think we're gonna be all right. I think we'll be okay. Yes, sir. Forgot about Del Rio. I don't blame you. I forgot about him too. Hell, he was so drunk he probably forgot about his own damn self. Mm-mm. Let's see here. I think we do at 7 is I think what we do at 7 is the most important thing we can do in the off season. No, I mean it's part. I think it's multi layered. I think you got to get the coaching right, right. You got to get the coach whatever we decide to draft, right. I know people want Buddy Love from Notre Dame, Caleb Downs from Ohio State. Those are some names I heard. Bain from Miami, um, and then the kid from Texas Tech also. Those are just some of the guys. I need a dog on my defense. I mean, I think a running back is a luxury uh, to some of those folks that are hounding for love. I need a dog to get after the quarterback. I need somebody who's going to get after Jackson Dart. I need somebody who's going to get after Jalen Hurts. I need somebody who's going to get after Dak Prescott. Because the one thing about it is we got some mobile ass quarterbacks in this division, and we got to have somebody. Yeah, see, Alex, I love it. I like Bane. Bane is wild, man. Him and that other guy on the other side. I'll take Bane. I think Frost was telling me. Let me see here. Frost said something to the other, to some effect. I think it was it Bailey? Bailey, that's who it was. He was talking about Bailey from Texas Tech. I was like, I don't know. I read a profile on him, and it's like he only got good in his last year. I'm like, I'm good. David Bailey reminds me too much of Chase Young, and I love Chase. Hey, Chase had a good season this year, man. It took him long enough, but he had a pretty good season on the hapless Saints team. What are you doing with Mikey? Are you keeping him on the outside? Him on that? Yeah, I mean that's where Mikey seemed like he had his success at. Right, was on that outside. They said he was a good slot corner in college, but he's had opportunities on that outside too. So I mean, I think you got to instill confidence in the kid. And I mean, I think that's something that Al Harris can do because Harris has played the spot before. He's been in that position. If you can get that secondary just to be average, you gonna have a chance to win some games. If you can get to the quarterback, you're gonna go up significantly. Put him in the slot was absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I think he did well on the outside. He's a competitor. I think Mikey, you can say maybe it's a sophomore slump, but I don't ever think that this defense that you look at, there's so many things that was wrong with this defense. And not just this year, but even last year, right? So under Joe Witt and company. And this is also what I have a problem with. While Joe Witt was the play caller, your head coach, our head coach, is a defensive minded coach. The reason why he got the job in Washington was because of what? It's because he called some great defenses in Dallas. Granted that you could chalk that up to Micah Parsons, but it is what it is. Excuse me. Should we keep Quan? Huh? Quan has to get better. Seriously, nobody asked you anything. Quan got to get better, bro. He's got to get better. I don't know what it is. I don't. I, could it be that he was able to succeed with Jeremy Chin right there beside him, and he had to do some things. That he's done some bird brain things this year. The tackling got poor for him. The tackling is bad on the team all season long. Quan was disappointing, bro. Quan was disappointing. And if that continues, I don't say you get rid of him, but you got to bring competition in for him. It's just like with the kicking situation. I think Jake Moody could be the guy, but you need to bring another kicker in and let them compete in the end. Don't have these sham competitions, right? You got to have legitimate competition. If you're weak in a spot, bring somebody in here. Now, bring somebody who's young and hungry. It's a good show with Haley Joel Osment's sister in it. But you got to bring somebody who's young and hungry in here who can replace him. Let's see. He's the only ball magnet we got. Yeah. And what's up? Happy New Year. What position does Washington need the most? Heart. They need the position of heart more than anything. No, in all seriousness, man, I think that we need a pass rusher. I really do. We need an edge rusher bad, 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 bad. And then I think you got to rebuild. You got to have something in that secondary, and then you got to get another linebacker. Now, I liked what I saw at Jordan McGee. It shows you when a guy has a little bit of speed and you're not going to the nursing home with Bobby Wagner, how effective somebody can be. All respect to Bobby Wagner, right? Man's going to be a Hall of Famer. We said this before. He does not need to be on the field 100% of the snaps, 99% of the snaps. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it looked at times, and we sat here and watched the games, and he looked like an old person. He looked like an old lady chasing after somebody who stole a purse. It's like, help, stop that man. I'll never forget who we were playing. We were playing Atlanta, and Jeremy Reese had to chase down Bijan, which he Wagner's looking at the it's supposed to be that's his responsibility, but he's like, yo, I can't get him. You gotta go get him, Revo. And if Revo doesn't stop him, that's a touchdown. It's elder abuse, man. I didn't like them having Luvu with his hands in the dirt. That was another blunder. Yeah, and that blunder stemmed from not being smart in the offseason with the pass rushing situation, Alex, right? It you had this was a pass rush deep draft. You had the green kid from Marshall, right? Devin Azaraku, who kind of caught on there in Dallas, coming out of Boston College. You could have had your pick at these guys. I liked in the linebacker spot. I do was it Jahad Campbell, who went to Philadelphia. You could have did so much. We got Connor in there. Connor struggle. I think he's gonna be all right. But he's not gonna change the game for you. He's a right tackle. He's not gonna change the game. He might solidify a hole for you. It is what it is, man. But it was a blunder. I agree. I ain't disagreeing with you on that one. David Brown, what's up? Do we pick the most needed position in the draft, or do you pick the most talented player? Right? You got to pick and that's all subjective, right? I think you have to pick the most talented player on the board. Hopefully, it is one of these defensive guys. And hopefully, if you don't think you have the most talented player there, trade back. And that's another thing. I hear people talking about this. We need to trade back. When has trading back worked for us? Y'all remember when we thought we won that trade back with the Saints and everything? They got a Sam Howell and Jahan Dotson. And I mean, look at them. They're all they aren't doing anything in Philadelphia right now. Hey man, for real, they're gonna be vicious in college and not convert, or they're gonna be some okay and end up being vicious. It happens every year. Who knows how rookies / edge rushers gonna play? That's true. That is true. But if you get the right guys, that's another thing though. That's the development. That's development. That's on coaching. And I have another segue because there's a lot of things that have happened since we last met. It was like the report with Cliff Kingsbury and him leaving Washington, and they said they felt like the front office was meddling with what meddling with what the coaches were trying to do. I'm sorry, is that not what the front office is supposed to do? It's to hold you accountable. It's like kind of what I was talking to actually talking to Paulie about this, and we said, it's like, yes, they are the cooks, they are the chef, they cook, they buy the foods, and they buy the food, and Dan Quinn and them are supposed to cook it. But that's like, and I mean, this is like, why didn't we see Ben Simmons out there trying to get experience, especially later in the season? No, they're gonna play Zach Ertz. Why didn't we see Jordan McGee playing more? No, we're gonna play Bobby Wagner more. Why are we seeing all these old receivers out there instead of giving Jalen Lane some extra burn, right? Why are we playing 35-year-old Chris Moore? I know he's not that old, but yeah, just stay with me here. You're not developing these guys. That's like you're saying. It's like Eddie Murphy in Raw, right? Or was it Delirious? Whatever one. Where they talking about? Hey, mama, I want some McDonald's. She said, we got McDonald's in the house right there. You go and take that Wonder Bread, put that hamburger and patty. There you go. You got McDonald's. There ain't no McDonald's. I want a Happy Meal. Don't matter. You save your money, you use what you got, and then you go out and shop. Al Harris come in here. We probably got a shot at Brisker. Quan has a couple million left that were back. Yes. I like what I saw on Brisker. That's what Rennell Winchester said. Yeah, for sure. I'm not one of these big draft nuts, bro. I'll tell you this right now. I'm not a big draft nut. I think people who I say this with all respect. Petty. I hate this time of year. From now until May, April, until like late April, I hate this time of year. It's absolutely the worst because that's all we're doing. We just basically selling a bunch of snake oil for people. Like people don't care who's playing at Carson Newman in D2 South Atlantic Conference play. And they're like, oh, this kid might be a good pick in the 6th round. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares who's playing at the University of Charleston in the Mountain East in D2 ball. I'm gonna go break down this tape, bro. Look, just give me a couple guys. Let me look at them. Let me see what Pro Football Focus say. I say, this guy fit with us. Okay, this is somebody we can throw. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and prognosticate and do all that. I don't have the interest for that. Just say, how can we make this team better now? How can we make this team better now? And you look at it. I would say, where would you rate our draft this year? I'd give our draft a good B minus. Because all 4 out of the 5 guys were producers. You look at it. Connolly got better as the right tackle. Now, was he the right pick at that spot? I don't think so. But he got better. That's credit to him. Jalen Lane, would he lead the league in punt returns for touchdowns? He had 2. There you go. Also, Bill had me ripping $100 bills up in here. He was a 7th round pick. He was 4 spots away from being Mr. Irrelevant. He got Madrano in there. It's but we had there was some good talent here. It's a gamble. Let me get these comments, and then we will. If we hire a Harris as a DC, does that increase the odds of drafting Caleb? I don't know. Carr got better, so yeah, it did. Let's see here. Trading block. Trading back doesn't. I agree. Yep, that's what I said. It doesn't work. We need /want a threat off the line. Need a Myles Garrett or Garrett. You said Garrett Miles. TJ Watt. Let's see. But how much is that gonna cost? What you gonna get? What are you giving up for that though? And DQ is either brilliant or he's damn crazy. We'll see next season. I agree with 1/2 of that. Senna's not that good. I was going to say 2 core development. I skipped that aspect. You're absolutely correct. I like when people say I'm actually. What's good, Toothpick? What's good, brother Junkie? How you feeling? Yeah, man, they're gonna say reps. Yeah, my mama made it. Yeah, Corey. As I get older, I realize top pick ain't prop me out. Bill's fumbles were killing me. Let's see here. And then some players come up spoiled and good, and some come from nothing round back. That's true. You never know. Yep. Okay, guys. So I got through all my comments. With that being said, I got to bring on my brother from another mother, and we're just gonna yell here, and nothing will get solved. He's gonna get his feelings hurt. I'm just gonna talk through him and put him through mute when he says something crazy. But y'all know him, y'all love him. Critically acclaimed, the cognac correspondent, Paulie, in the house.
Hell to the W, man. What's good?
Hey, what's good? What's good, bro?
What's you, my guy?
What's up, brother?
It's good, man. How you doing?
What's good? I can't complain.
It would sound like you said we need to draft Jeremiah Love.
No, I didn't say anything. I didn't say no. I did not say that. I basically did a moratorium on why we should not draft Buddy Love. So
Jeremiah Love, baby, the best offensive player in the draft.
If he's I need the best defensive player in the draft.
Well, the best defensive player in the draft is not going to be there at 7. So I'm going to take the best offensive player in the draft.
Well, what if he's 7? Not there at 7?
Well, if he ain't there at 7, then you got to go Ruben Bain.
Yeah. Hey, if Bain gets that far. So who's the best defensive player in the draft in your mind?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know why? Because it's hard to determine. Like, there's a lot of pass rushes, right? A lot of edge rushes, pass rushes. They're supposed to be good. But I always say, man, them edge rushers and the pass rushers are just like quarterbacks, man. They hit or miss in that top 10. I mean, just look at the history of the draft of the edge rushers, man. Like, they're not all, just because you got to take a guy in the top 10 as a pass rusher doesn't mean he's going to be Lawrence Taylor as a stretch. So let's just say Khalil Mack. And Khalil Mack didn't even go in the top 10. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, you and I, we talked about this too. These guys, whoever you draft, they're not going to be instant hits. They 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be instant hits. It's going to take them a little bit of time to get their bearings back. I mean, you had, like Abdul Carter, right? He had his struggles early on. See, then he finally started coming in, but that's when he started turning off. That's when
When
they
they
started
started call,
putting
when
the
they started calling him out on his bullshit that he was
and
doing
putting the
all year.
parental lock on his phone, so he
Right.
could be watching stuff in team meetings. Yeah.
They put the
Yeah.
lock on Pornhub.
Yeah.
Just say what it is. Just say
Yeah.
what it is.
It's a family show, sir. It's a family show.
Okay, well,
It's a family
Pornhub's
show.
for the
Don't be
family.
disrespectful. So anyway, let's take a
Pornhub
look at
has
this.
started a lot of families.
The comings and goings, right? Um.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anyway, who gonna be the next defense coordinator, man? Who you want as the next defense coordinator?
Dan Quinn.
Jesus Christ. That's not
Well, he
the
don't want
damn
the well,
question.
he don't
I
want
didn't
the
say the
job.
play call. I said the defense. See, you starting this stuff already. I asked you for a
I'm
straight
saying,
answer.
man. I gave you a straight answer. I
I
think
said
Dan
not the
Quinn
defensive
need to
coordinator.
take. Yeah,
Who's gonna be the defensive coordinator?
he needs to take the bull by the horn and be the defensive coordinator, man. Look at the trend of the league. The trend of the league is
That's what I was telling you.
head coaches are have the bull by the horn. If you're a defensive head coach, you're the defensive play caller. If you're an offensive head coach, you're an offensive play caller. You know, he got a lot of pressure on him this year. All I know is if that was my job in jeopardy, see, he might not think his job in jeopardy, but if it at outside looking in, his job's in jeopardy. And if
Yeah, it's
that
a
was the
lame duck
case,
season for him. Yes, I feel like it's a lame duck
right,
season.
right. So I'm going to take the bull by the horns. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna get fired, I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna get fired, and I'm gonna go down pulling the trigger myself. Now next year, he can pass that on if he wants to. Al
But it's got to be
Harris.
on
Okay,
him.
there you go. There you go. Al Harris.
There you go. See, that's all I asked you for.
Al
And
Harris.
I even said, look, I even said on your thought about the play
I wanted
calling
Al
and everything.
Harris. I wanted Al Harris last year, but Dallas wouldn't let us interview him. They wouldn't
Nope.
let him go last year.
I think it will be Al Harris. And I don't like
I do too.
he's not coming in here to be the play caller. He's coming in here to fortify that secondary and give Mikey some tutelage, give Trey Amos some tutelage there, and hopefully get some of these safeties back in the right role, getting Quan Martin straight and playing him and getting him play better ball. Let's see here. That's a good question. What kind of leash do you guys think is on DQ? Playoffs, one playoff win or further? I think first of all he's got to win. I think that is very apparent that they have to win. This can't happen next year. This 5-12, there's got to be improvement, and that's going to be what is that? That's got to be a 5-game improvement at least from this year. What do you think, Paul?
What was the question again?
What kind of leash do you think is on? Well, I didn't really even answer
Winning
the
record.
question.
Winning
Yeah,
record.
winning record.
One thing, yeah. I guess listen, man. One thing about what's the owner name? Josh Harris.
Yeah,
It's Josh. I know the
Josh.
last name. All right. One thing about Josh Harris is he's not a first time owner.
No, he's not.
Right. He's not a first time owner. So he knows. I don't think he's not gonna be quick to pull the trigger. And anybody that knows and looks at this roster knows that even from last year, like they didn't think they just wanted to be competitive. They didn't think 12-5 was gonna happen. You know, that was Jaden Daniels. You know, so I
And Cliff
think that
Kingsbury.
yeah, no, the whole staff,
Yeah.
Kingsbury, Joe Witt too. I
Who?
think Joe Witt. I think Joe
Who?
Witt did better with less than he did when he had a little bit more. Joe Witt too. Joe Witt too. Look,
Who?
Joe Witt is not a bad coach, man. He was
Who?
just an inexperienced coach. That's
Who?
all. And when things got rough, pause. You know what I mean? Like when players got injured and players wasn't playing to where they was how they was supposed to play,
Uh-huh.
he didn't know how to adapt to that because he was really a first time play caller. Well,
Who?
second year play caller.
His name is who?
Now, my whole point is Joe Witt.
Joe who? Joe who? Anyway,
Why do I
go back.
why do I call you, man?
Hey,
Right.
technically, I called you. You
Why do
just
I
picked up
call
the
you?
phone. You picked up the phone. So
Same difference. But
no,
look, the
that gives
whole
me the
point is,
power. So there you
God damn, man.
go.
Like I said, like I was saying, I just think he needs to have a winning record.
See, I have all the power. I just muted him. See, man. Yeah, okay, go. I'm messing with you. I'm messing. Go ahead. You good? You good? I'm leaving you alone.
You know, karma's a bitch. I'm just gonna let you know that. Karma's a bitch. Anyways, like I said,
No, she's in Texas now.
like I was saying, he need to have a winning record and be in competition for the playoffs. That's it. Winning record.
Winning record.
9-8, 10-7, 11-6, 12-5. No matter, he need to have a winning record because his roster, especially on defense, is depleted. And
I
that's more Adam Peters' fault than it is Dan Quinn's
agree with
fault.
that. I agree with you to a certain extent. I think it's how you get to a winning record. Now, if you're like 5-4 midway through the season and you finish 9-8, I think that's a recipe for like, hey, yes, you're good. If you start out, heck, if he starts out 2-6 and something finish, now I don't think he's going to be here if they start out 2-6. But if they start out 6-2, right, like they did back in 24, and you finish 9-8, I think I still think that's cause to cut the cord because I feel like that signals that you're underachieving.
I don't think they can start. Not start out. I don't think they can have a stretch of the season where they go on 4 or 5 games in a row and the
Losing.
game is over at halftime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying.
That's going to signify he's gone. Now, if you're
Yes.
telling me we got a losing record but we've been competing in all the games, we lead the league in one score losses or last possession losses, then I can say we build it. But if we doing like we did this past year, where we got a 4 or 5 game stretch where the games are over at the halftime, then yeah, he got to go.
It's comparing like the Redskins back in 2000 and in 2001, right? They both teams finished 8-8, but one team was propelled to be in the Super Bowl late in a playoff run, right? And they lost down the stretch. North Turner got fired. They finished 8-8. They started out with Marty Schottenheimer his first year. Started out 0-5.
Well, hold on. What's talking about? That North Turner season, he had been there 7 years.
Well, that's true. I get that.
This will only be year 3.
Right.
Dan Quinn.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing. I'm just talking about the quality of while something may look 8-8, 500. There's 2 different ways to get there, and like one signaled that this team was on the decline, and then the other one said this team is improving from where they were because they finally.
But let me say this though.
Go ahead.
Dan Snyder was the owner, bro. You got to throw all that out the window.
Well, I'm just saying. I know I'm not
because that last North Turner season, there was a struggle going on where Dan Snyder wanted him to play Jeff George, and he was like, "No, Brad Johnson's our quarterback." And they're saying that he made a mistake by playing Brad Johnson, starting him in that Giants game after he had been out for 6-7 weeks. And that was he only did that to pull power. The same way Jay Gruden started Colt McCoy that last game against New England, where everybody named Mama knew Colt McCoy shouldn't have started that game. You know what I mean? So that was a power thing. It was a Dan Snyder thing.
Yeah,
that's
I'm just saying, like,
Josh Harris.
Right?
He's not a first-time owner, and he's not a panicky owner neither.
Well, obviously, we see what the 76ers have done.
Brett Brown.
No, that wasn't my point. My point is saying, my point is saying that there are different qualities and different ways of looking at similar records. One could be cause for fire. Like I said, if he finishes 9-8 next year, and they started out strong and they missed the playoffs because he was at 9-8, and they had opportunities to win, like you said, a lot of one score losses or blowouts or whatever down the stretch. Yeah, there might be time. It may be time to change the message, but we'll see. But if they're competitive in games and they might be 5-4 in the middle of the season, and then they finally put it all together and they just miss out, but you know things are trending up for them, then that might be a reason to keep them here. That's my point. It's all different qualities and how you get there. It's like some people take 95 to get to Richmond, other people take Route 1. It's going to get you there, but one's going to be longer. It's going to be a lot more traffic lights.
All right, listen, you know how you avoid all that shit? Open up that checkbook in the off season and sign you some defensive players. Period.
Yeah.
And listen, and I'm not saying break the bank. I'm saying open up the checkbook. You know, because last year we should have signed Josh Sweat. We should have signed Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat or what's the tackle that's with the Patriots now that came from the Eagles? Williams, is his name Williams? Monty Williams? What's the dude? He's with the Patriots now.
Oh gosh.
He was a defensive tackle for the Eagles last year. He was killing in the Super Bowl last year. But they should have signed one of them dudes from the from the Eagles. Either Josh Sweat or the defensive tackle. You know, they should have signed Jeremy Chin back. You know, they
Milton Williams.
Signed who?
Milton Williams.
There you go, Milton Williams. They should have signed Milton Williams or Josh Sweat, one of the two. You didn't have to sign both, but you should have signed one of them because you needed defensive tackle help, which is obvious because you signed Kinlaw. See, they went with cheaper options instead of going after Milton. They signed Kinlaw instead of Josh Sweat. They signed who they signed. They didn't even really sign.
They didn't sign anybody really.
They really didn't sign nobody to replace Fowler. They didn't sign nobody to replace Fowler 12 sacks. They tried to keep it in the house, which was a mistake. You know what I mean? Instead of starting Jeremy Chin, they signed Will Harris. You know, so they're gonna have to open up that checkbook. Like I said, they might have to break the bank, but you're gonna have to sign some people to give them some money.
Mm-hmm.
And you might have to break the bank on one of those signings. But they definitely need 4 to 5 players on defense. You got to get a linebacker. Like I always say,
they need it at every level. Yeah.
The person I would have broke the bank on for real would have been Vaughn, the middle linebacker for the Eagles. I would have rated the Eagles this year, man, because they had a lot of people that was free agents after that Super Bowl, which most Super Bowl teams do. I would have rated the Eagles, and they stayed away from them. And everybody who signed back to the Eagles or went to play somewhere else that played with the Eagles last year produced this year.
Mm. Fair point. Let's say none of us want to hear that JD has the same season next season as this season. Are we reevaluating the quarterback position? I don't even want to talk like that. I don't even want to think like that. Don't want to think like that. They might be. I think they're constantly doing that. The Milton Williams. And then Chen, I agree with you. He didn't even cost that much. Yep. Every level, we need a player in free agency on defense. And Frost is yelling it, man. He said we need to have it. Yeah.
We need it. We need another. We need to draft. Listen. Everywhere we need a player, we need to draft a player and sign that player. So we need a defensive end. We need to draft a defensive end. We need to sign a defensive end. We need a receiver. We need to draft a receiver. We need to sign a receiver. We need linebackers. They need to draft a linebacker. They need to sign a linebacker. You know, I mean, really,
we don't need to sign anybody over the age of 30.
Unless they're right at 30.
Yeah.
You sign them to a 1-year deal.
Or they're turning 30.
And that was a problem too, because you can't. You started over last year, and I understood what they did last year by bringing in these veterans. You know what I mean? And signing them to 1 year deals. But you got to know that that was only a 1 year process. Like coming into last off season, they should have been doing everything possible to to get draft picks and build. Have the second year be building through the draft. They traded for Lattimore because they was like, okay, we in the playoff hunt, and it was obvious to everybody. Come on, the cornerback position was lacking. Now you don't know if that was part of the players or coaching because you see the cornerbacks that we had last year went to other teams and actually played pretty well for the teams that they was playing with. St. Juice, Forbes, you know what I mean? So now you got a question: was it part of it coaching or was it the players? But regardless of that, they still got rid of him. It still was a problem. And then you come back the same year, this year, and then you trade 2 more picks for Jeremy Tunsil, which I'm gonna keep saying I don't think we really needed to trade for Jeremy Tunsil. And now you put yourself back in the same
Laramie.
position you were. Yeah, Laramie. You put yourself back in the same position you was last year, where you don't have as many draft picks as you should have because you was trying to go for it, but you didn't really try to go for it because you spent the whole off season battling with just your second best offensive player, your security blanket for your quarterback.
These are the guys that they signed last year. Like these were the key free agent signings. Dietrich Wise, who never was a massive role player. He's a role player in New England. He wasn't like this big elite guy for him. He was 30. He turned 31 in July. He was 30 at the time they signed him, right? Jacob Martin, who just turned 30. He was 29 when they signed him. Jonathan Jones was 31 when they signed him. Old guy for cornerback too. Will Harris, he just turned 30. And then you had your boy Matt Gay, who everybody loved Matt Gay. Good playoff kicker. So you gotta get younger, gotta get faster. Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have to revamp the whole secondary. Hey, Paulie, tell my man Telly sound alike. One say hail to the
Hell to the
W, and then
Redskins.
one hail to the Redskins. Check it
Hell to
out.
the Redskins. I didn't know what
Chris
he was saying.
Chris Hustle, hail to the Redskins, man. Matt Gay, man, Gay sucked. Damn, didn't they release him on? I didn't realize the 49ers released him on the 9th of December. So, I know you
Yeah,
done
man.
heard from
Hopefully,
Telly
but look,
before, Corey. He been on Travis Thomas show. Yeah,
who?
with Linnell
Telly?
and
Yeah,
Doc.
we know Telly. We know
Yeah, we
Telly,
know
man.
Telly.
Chris Hustle.
Chris
Hell to
Hustle.
the Redskins.
Yeah. Okay.
Look,
Hey,
man.
let's do this. Look, let's do this. I'm gonna start a new segment on here. It's gonna be called ABC. It's anything but Commanders. So we ain't gonna talk about the Commanders here. We're gonna talk about this NFL coaching carousel. And I got a couple of guys want to get your quick thoughts on this. Of course, the Bills, they fired Sean McDermott. I think that was a bad move. Yeah, and then you could tell it was compounded an even worse move when you saw the press conference between the owner and the media. It was a power struggle. He was the victim of the power struggle, was McDermott. Now, I'm not trying to defend the man, but you win 98 games in a 7-year span. You must be doing something right. And you can't control your MVP quarterback coughing up the ball. And then, as you said, Paulie, they're one BS call away from probably getting in the field goal range.
Yeah. Listen, I like McDermott. If I'm Cleveland Browns, I'm throwing him all the money in the world to come be my coach.
I said this earlier. Yeah.
He might be the only coach that can actually deal with having Deshaun Watson as his quarterback because Deshaun Watson is going to play next year. He's due to make $80 million and he's healthy. It was easy last year. He wasn't healthy. It was easy for him
The
to sit him
massage
on the
therapist
bench.
thought he was healthy too.
Yeah, I know. And it's good, it's funny and all that, but the man making $80 million. He is going to play. That's the reason why they can't get a coach right now. But if I'm them, I'm opening up my checkbook to Doug McDermott. Oh, not Doug. What's his name? Doug
Sean.
McDermott played with the Bulls. Sean
Yes.
McDermott. Yeah. So I'm opening up my checkbook to
Here's your
McDermott.
here's your signing bonus if you're going to Cleveland.
I'm
Here's your
opening up
sign.
my checkbook to McDermott, and I'm telling him because they got a
He's gonna
defense
say,
coach.
who the hell put
He's
this
a
slip and
he's
slide
a
in my
defense
office?
he's a defensive coach, and they got a defense. And that's if they don't hire Schwartz.
Yeah.
That's if they don't hire Schwartz. I think that's the only thing. The only reason why Schwartz hasn't been named the coach right now is because Schwartz is still trying to think is like, can I win with Watson? That's the whole thing right there. So
Does he really want to be? And does Schwartz want to be a head coach again?
I
That's
think
another
all
question.
I think all former head coaches who had a little bit of success always wants another opportunity because they feel like I was right there. And I think Schwartz was right there with the Titans. He was a good coach.
He wasn't there with the Titans. He was the
Oh, Jaguars, right? Who was it?
no, the Lions.
The Lions,
Lions.
my fault. The Lions. He was right there with the Lions. I knew it was one of them teams that was up and coming.
Bills did him
Was.
a favor. Their cap is like the Dolphins going to the Browns is a no brainer.
They
There you
did.
go.
They did. And that's why I said I was surprised this year out of all the years he got fired because I thought he did his best coaching job this year with the
Yep.
roster they had on defense. And not only that, like he was the last they was the last team to fire a coach. He already had 9 openings. Like
They didn't.
the
I say
market
I
is
think
saturated.
right. And to your point, that defense in that game, they might not have played the best game, but they did not let that game get out of hand. Yeah, they gave up 33 points, but they kept pace enough to where they could keep up. They survived the turnovers that Josh Allen was coughing up.
Right.
And then you have the argument if this is everybody's feeling bad for Josh Allen, but Lamar Jackson just can't win the big one.
Right.
Something makes you go, according to
ain't no Lamar Jackson can't win a big one. Excuse me. Lamar Jackson didn't miss that kick.
That's true.
You know what I mean? He missed that kick. He damn sure got him in position to make the kick. You know what I mean? He missed that kick. He ain't dropped that pass last year. You know what I mean? He dropped them multiple passes the year before that. Like, come on now, stop. He decided not to give the runner. He decided not to run the ball at all in the second half. 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Stop with that. You know what I mean? I ain't on that. Look, come on, man. You talking about a 2-time MVP who should have been a 3-time MVP. So I ain't.
What
I
about
ain't
the
on that.
one-time MVP? I thought this guy looked desperate taking this job, and really, it like happened. It happened in the middle of the night too, huh?
Salah?
Yes.
No,
He goes from one bad situation
I'm gonna
to
disagree
another.
with you on that, but go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm just saying because I'm in the Titans market and I know what kind of mess that they're in. Like, I don't think this is a smart move for Robert Saleh. Like,
I think it is a smart move.
There's no redeeming in that with the Titans right now. You went from bad to bad, from Woody Johnson to now Amy Adams. It's not going to end well for him. It's really not, and I hate that for him. He's setting his own self up.
Who, Robert Saleh?
Yes, he's setting his own self up.
I think this was the perfect job for Robert Saleh.
Huh? Explain.
Okay, I was about to say, I didn't know if you had something to say. Listen, man, Robert Saleh is a defensive coach.
He is.
He's a hell of a defensive coach. One thing Tennessee have is talent on defense. That's the one thing they got is talent on defense, and he's a defensive coach. And they have a quarterback. No, let me take that back. They potentially have a quarterback who was the first pick in the draft last year. So he has the potential to be better, right? And he's in Tennessee. There's a very big difference between Tennessee's market and the New York market. Look how long Callahan, was it Brian Callahan? Look how long he kept that job. He probably kept that job a year longer than he should have. You know what I
He
mean?
kept the job
So
for a year and a
no,
half.
he was what? He was there for 3 years, right? He was there for three
No,
years.
no, he was there for a year and some change.
Like I said, a year longer than he should have. But the whole point I'm making is like it's the perfect market for him, man. And he's a defensive coach. The one thing he had with the Jets, how long was Salah with the Jets?
Was he there for 3 years?
Don't matter how long he was there. The years previous to Aaron Rodgers, and we all know Aaron Rodgers is a coach killer because his last two coaches got fired. Last two coaches got fired. And no. Last two coaches got fired, and last 3 out of 4 coaches got fired. Throw Mike McCarthy in that mix too, right? So we know he a coach killer. Most definitely he a coach killer. So, but before that, he had the Jets on the uptick. The only problem with the Jets was quarterback, and they picked the wrong quarterback the same way the Pittsburgh Steelers did last year. Period. I mean, this past year. So I think Robert Saleh is actually going to have them competing and in the thick of things, in the AFC South, which is really right now might be the second best division in the league if you really think about it in the NFL. Maybe the third. I would say the NFC from this year, you had to say the NFC West, then you would say the AFC West, and then I would say the AFC South. Or you could even say NFC West, AFC South, then the AFC West. So I think that was a good hire by Tennessee, and I think that was a good decision for Robert Saleh, man. Because he's not gonna
Yeah,
get that. He gonna have that same. He ain't gonna have the same pressure in Tennessee that he had in New York.
yeah. I think you're wrong, but he won't have that same media prep, which you're right in that respect. But
But that was his downfall with the Jets. It was the media pressure mixed combined with Aaron Rodgers.
and maybe he might bring Aaron Rodgers down there to be his quarterback.
Yeah, right. Or Aaron Rodgers and his fraudulent wife.
He got mushrooms. I just think that's not. It's not a good job. Um, yeah, it, I don't think they hit.
I think any job in the AFC South is a good job because nobody really expects nothing out of any of those teams. If they're bad, they're gonna talk about how
I don't
bad
know,
you are.
Carly. I mean, Carly Ursay. She's expecting big things. That's why they went out and got Sauce Gardner.
Well, who they gonna get for quarterback?
They can bring back Daniel Jones, or they're gonna go out and get
No,
Peyton Manning.
he blew his knee out late in the season. He ain't
They're
gonna be
gonna go
ready to
get
start
Peyton
the
Manning
season.
out of retirement.
Who are some of the free? Oh, I know who they can get.
Who?
I'm about to say the guy they drafted, but no, they didn't draft him. What's the backup for Green Bay? He's gonna get a starting job somewhere. What's the
Oh,
backup for
Malik
Green Bay?
Willis.
Malik Willis. Malik Willis. He's a good
The Titans
quarterback.
drafted him. Yeah.
Yeah, Titans drafted. I can see him. I can see Indianapolis going after him or the Raiders. I can see him fitting with the Raiders. Well, no, Raiders got Geno Smith, right?
Yeah. For how
But Geno
long?
Smith, I'm not about to say. I was going to say the same thing. I'm not impressed with Geno Smith neither. I think he had his run.
Yeah.
Now he's with Seattle,
Gino had them years in Seattle, and I think they round up.
and I only think he really excelled in Seattle because they wasn't expecting nothing out of him in Seattle.
Towards
Seattle was on
Achilles. Jones towards Achilles.
it's Achilles. Okay,
Hmm.
okay, same difference. Achilles is just as
Um.
bad as tearing the ACL, especially for a quarterback. Ask Kirk Cousins. Speaking
I
of Kirk
mean,
Cousins, where you see him at next year?
I don't know. Maybe Kevin Stefanski might keep him there. He goes to Atlanta. I like that. I like this move. Kevin Stefanski,
Stefanski.
Bill Callahan going down there to Atlanta. Atlanta might
Hey,
be
that's
tough
his
next year.
guy. That's his guy.
Yeah,
When does Kevin Stefanski has his most success?
when he
When
had Bill
Callahan
Callahan,
was his offensive line coach.
and you got the
Exactly.
best, and you got You
And
got
he got
probably the best
Bijan
weapon,
Robinson
offensive weapon in the NFC.
and Bijan Robinson.
Yep.
Arguably, yeah. There's an
Yeah.
argument to that. You can say Gibbs.
Yeah. Gibbs kind of took a step back too. Mariota to the Colts.
Well, that
There
whole
you go.
Detroit took a step back. Now Mariota's not going away, man. Mariota's about comfortability, and it's right
He's
now
going to
his
ball. He's going to
comfortability.
Baltimore if Cliff goes there. He'll be
No,
backing up
no,
Lamar.
no. He'll stay where he at as a backup. If Cliff goes somewhere where there's not a quarterback that's obvious, then I can see him going with Cliff. But if Cliff is going somewhere and you got a Lamar Jackson, he might as well just stay in DC where he's at. He's comfortable there. The offense is going to be not the same, but very familiar. You know what I mean? So I don't see Mariota going anywhere, honestly. If it does, it got to be a couple extra million added on to the end of that contract for him to actually
Mm.
leave. And I would think he would go to a warm weather city, and he's a warm weather guy at heart.
Then our boy Mike McDaniel, he said, "I don't want none of these jobs. This is how bad these jobs are. So I'm just gonna go and smoke dope in L.A. with Jim Harbaugh."
Hold on. There you go. I don't think nobody wanted him as a head coach because he wanted to go and smoke dope. Look, only thing better than Florida dope is LA dope.
You know that. You know that's right. You know
You
that's
know
right,
what I
bro.
mean? Only thing better than Florida dope is LA dope, man. Cucayona. Ikea. Go from the Cubans to the Mexicans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, gotta check your passport. He can wear them aviators out there. Yeah,
Look, he still could keep his slip back.
that's right.
He gotta change his slip back up. He
uh, uh,
good.
uh. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that move.
Look, his
For
slip back
him,
and his high pants.
that's
Him and
true.
Harbaugh have matching high pants.
Nah, you know he gonna have them pleated pants. He's gonna be like, we can't, you can't be wearing these men capri pants, these joggers or whatever they call them.
Let's
Can't be
talk about
doing that.
khakis, man. Harbaugh in the perfect place. He got khakis and chucks on.
That's right.
Keep it gangster, dog. Keep it gangster.
That's right. He knows to wear the black down there. You can't wear that powder blue just out anywhere out there in
Keep it
Inglewood.
gangster,
So
dog. Keep it gangster.
yeah, what's up, Dubs? What's up, man? Yeah. But nah, we're gonna try to do this every week. Next week, next Wednesday, same bat time. We do it at 8 o'clock, and hope we got the defense coordinator. We'll talk about some stuff in the NFL. Paulie will probably be in his truck.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
I'm,
but
I'm gonna try. We go to Wednesdays.
yeah, we're gonna try to do it on Wednesday. Call
Oh
it
yeah,
Warpath
yeah.
Wednesday.
If it's on Wednesdays, probably depending on what time, man.
Yeah,
Thursday,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Hey, be on the lookout though, man. The Water Boys is right around the corner, man. Shout out
We
my man
hope.
G from the shop, man.
We
I'm gonna
hope.
tell you, it's right around the corner.
I
Right
mean,
around the corner. Shout out my man G from
yeah.
the
I
shop,
mean
man.
the
No,
the guy.
no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no, no, no, no, no. Joe Louis 155 years old.
no,
Rocky Balsamo was
no.
150.
Shout
Yeah,
out my man G from the shop, though.
man,
Shout
you
out
already
Lil
know.
G too. 3D and G, man.
3D and G. Let's see here. Um, I think he would stay for Jaden. Is perfect backup. Talking about Mariota. Chargers going to be tough if they get their old line healthy. Yeah, they lost both their tackles. And Joe Alt and what's his name
And
from
they'll be back. That's what I'm
Northwestern.
saying. They'll be
Yep,
back.
they'll be back.
That's what we need to get talking about line. That's the first thing they need to work on defense, though. The defensive line. The
Yeah,
second thing is linebackers.
yeah.
Then
We've seen the last of Deron Payne, so got
maybe not.
I think we've seen the last of Deron Payne.
Maybe not.
Y'all think we've
All
seen
right,
the last of
I got
Deron
a
Payne?
question.
Put in the
I got a
comments.
question. I got a question for you and the people in the comments.
Hmm.
How would you feel about bringing Chase Young back?
I'm good. Pass.
Because he's the type of player that we actually need to sign. Like a player he's a younger guy. He's not gonna cost a whole lot of money. He'll pay some money, but not a whole lot of money.
I'm good.
And he's productive last year. He was productive with the Saints last year.
Yeah, good.
Like the Saints was very happy with him.
I'm good.
I know you good. We heard
I'm
you.
good.
That's
I'm
what I
good.
said. What about people out there in the chat, man? What y'all think? Chase
There we
Young.
go.
Bring Chase
Bye
Young
bye
back.
Payne. No Chase.
Okay.
I pass on Chase. Good job. Good job. I'm proud of y'all.
Good job.
I look.
Hey,
This is what
listen,
we
I'm
got.
not saying that. I'm not saying that I want Chase Young. No, I'm not saying that.
Your
What I'm
words are
saying
saying
is
it.
he's he's the type of player that we need though. Like
Mm,
we have no defensive end that can
mm.
set the edge or get any pressure outside of Dorrance Armstrong. And we don't even know what his timetable for returning is.
They had to let him heal. He probably would have been there the rest of the season.
No, if
If
they
he ain't been
let him sit on the guy, you're right. If they wouldn't have played him, like that was this
malpractice.
malpractice, not just with him, but everybody that was hurt this year. They brought everybody back too soon that was hurt outside of Ware Harris. That's only
Mm-hmm.
because he was out for 12 weeks. They
Good
had no
night.
choice.
Am I looking at this right? Okay.
I know one
Okay.
person we ain't talked about,
Who?
being we talk about going around the league,
Talk
Kevin
about.
Sheehan's favorite offensive coordinator.
Yeah, the mound round of offense. Old chocolate drop is back in Kansas City. Eric but enemy jump junkyard dog's favorite guy, but
Eric
enemy.
Bieniemy. Now don't tell me the man is trash. If Andy Reid fired his offensive coordinator that was under his staff, under his tutelage, went to another job,
Paulie, he didn't.
brought him back,
He
and he
didn't fire
fired
him,
him
Paulie.
again.
Paulie, he didn't
Huh?
fire him. He didn't fire him, Paulie. He did not fire him.
He didn't
It
fire
was
Nagy?
no, he didn't fire Nagy. His
He
contract
fired
ran out.
Nagy. Yeah, he fired.
It's
That's
Paul.
called
It's
getting
Paulie.
fired.
Paulie.
That's called
They
getting
really like.
fired.
They
If
really
your
like Matt
boss don't
Nagy.
renew your
They
contract,
really.
that's
They
called
really
getting
like him.
fired.
They really liked him. They
That's
really
called
liked him.
getting fired.
They they they
Shit.
they like to they like to
Corey
go out
Sheen.
there.
That's called
Clear.
getting fired, Corey
Paulie.
Sheen.
Paulie. I just feel like you don't understand the nuances of the offense that Matt Nagy called in Kansas City. And he had a lot of great things going with Mahomes until Mahomes got hurt, Paulie.
Well, injuries. You say it has to be injuries, and then count 5 steps down to the next problem. If Mahomes when they got hurt, they still would have lost the game and been out the playoffs.
I hear you. I hear you, but you're not right. You're not right. You're sounding like Sabah. Let's see here. Pain depends on. Okay, what did you
Hey,
say?
the Broncos
He's.
ain't signed Heineke yet. What the hell they doing?
What did you say? The Browns?
The Broncos. They ain't
The
signed
Broncos in
Heineke
there?
yet. That's the only
No.
way they got a chance this weekend.
They got called. They got called John Elway.
You know what's crazy though? I still like the Broncos this weekend.
That game's gonna be closer than what people
I
think.
like them to cover. I like them to cover
Yeah,
the spread.
that's what I'm saying. I think the game's.
Yeah, I like
That's
them
on
to
my.
cover the spread.
That's on my smell. That's on my smell
So
test.
much smell test. So much
Because
smell
the
test.
public is hammering the Patriots right now. The Patriots are being
I mean,
hammered by the public.
Sean Payton is a good coach, but
He's a great
I
coach,
love
Sean. I know Sean.
I love Mike Vrabel. I
I
thought that
like
they
Mike.
should.
I love
I
Mike
thought
Shanahan
Vrabel.
more.
I thought Vrabel should have been the number one option last
Yes.
year for us.
Yes.
I was really hoping that we was Vrabel as a head coach.
They traded him. Yeah. Dietrich Wise can't play. If not, got to get somebody else for sure. Chris, do we keep Louvu?
I don't
Yeah.
care if DJ Wise can play or not. If DJ Wise can play, they still need to sign somebody. When have you ever heard anybody talk about DJ Wise as being a top player in the league? He's a rotational player. The same way Jacob Martin was a rotational player. They got a bunch of rotational players. They need starters on the defensive line. Like I said, that's why I said that they should have opened up that checkbook and they should have signed Josh Sweat or Milton Williams. They are starters in this league, not rotational players. It's not baseball where you can start a middle relief pitcher, 2 middle relief pitchers to start games. One do 3 innings, other do other 3 innings, then you get to your close. No, that's not what this is. You need to have starters out there.
And
Sorry,
Josh Sweat went on to
sorry.
have a career year this year. Had 12 sacks.
Shout out Josh Rush, man. I told his grandma Carr the other day.
Oh, you did.
I did, yeah. Yeah. She's like,
That's why
oh,
we
you know
need Josh
Josh? I
Sweat.
said, I know Josh Rush. Oh, yeah, that's my baby, my grandbaby.
Oh, it's his grandbaby, her grandbaby.
Mm-hmm. See,
Oh,
them people up in Philadelphia, they is crazy. I'm really glad he left that organization.
that's a good woman
I'm
right
like,
there.
really?
That's a good
That's what
one.
she said.
Yeah, good woman. Good woman. I'm glad. I'm glad he left that organization too. And I mean, I didn't even care. To hell with
Speaking
Philadelphia.
of, have they hired an offensive coordinator yet?
No, they were interviewing Nagy, weren't they?
Nagy?
Yeah.
I seen a false report a couple of days ago that they hired McDaniel. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't think
I
anybody
like
told
Sirianni.
McDaniel
You
or
know
the
what's crazy
Chargers that.
though? I like Sirianni. That's the crazy thing about it. I
Oh, I
can't
can't stand him.
listen. I can't. I don't know him as a person, but from the outside looking in, he looked like he's a kind of an asshole type
He's a
of guy,
douchebag. Yeah.
personality. Yeah, but you have to respect the fact that his team that made the playoffs every year he's been a
I
head
can't
coach.
respect that. Yeah, I can't respect a grown ass man that needs a
Two
babysitter.
super, but two Super Bowl appearances, a win in every
That's
year in
Big
the
Dom.
playoffs. You have to respect that part.
Yeah, I respect Big Dom getting them there. That's why he's got the
Okay,
headset.
all right. You say what you want to say. I'm just saying. Every year as a head coach, you make the playoffs. You got two Super Bowl appearances and a win in the Super Bowl. You
Good
got to
for him.
respect something about it. It ain't, he's doing something right.
Yeah,
Might be
Jalen
one
Hurts
thing
is
he's
doing
doing
something
right.
right.
Yeah, all right, whatever. I'm just saying, man.
AJ
The proof
Brown's
is in the
doing something
pudding.
right.
Hey, the proof is in the Bill Cosby's pudding.
Yeah, and that's what happened because you taste that Bill Cosby pudding and you don't know what happened to you after you wake up the next 3 days later. I need you to die, Eagles, die! Bah! Got to
They like
keep moving.
Harbaugh with the Giants.
Um, I think that's gonna blow up in their face.
I know they're gonna be competitive.
They're gonna be competitive, but I think it's gonna blow up
They
in their
they they,
face.
they was competitive with Dayball and then with Kappa, whatever his name is, and it was competitive with him. They just had two. It was just one head coach who's not a head coach,
But you
and
kind of,
another
yeah,
head coach who needs to learn how to be a head coach in Dayball. And I think he might have learned that with the Giants.
but to your point, and you just brought this up, the league is going away from these delegating coaches. But you think this is going to be good for the Giants?
Yeah, but he out of all the head coaches, Harbaugh is a master delegator, and the thing about it is his strength his strength as a coach was special teams. That's
Mm-hmm.
delegating anyways. That's a delegating. Special teams. You're dealing with people, or some people who are starters, but most of the people in your special teams aren't starters. So you delegating anyways. So that's his strength.
Yep.
He is a delegator. So a lot of these guys, like I say about Quinn, you're a defensive coordinator. You're not as a defensive coordinator, you're not a delegator. You're a coordinator of 12 men on defense. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I always like Harbaugh as a coach. Like I do. Like, come on. Like I said, proof's in Cosby put in with him too. I mean, you don't do what you do for one organization that long and not know what you're doing.
We're gonna
So
find out here.
at worst, they're gonna be a solid team at worst. I don't see them I don't see
Is it
them
official that Todd
being 4 and
Monken
13 again.
is the Giants OC? Now, I haven't heard that yet, but we'll see that later. Paulie, I think we covered everything, brother. Appreciate you as always. We'll do this again next week. Um, any final parting words for the folks?
Hey man, if you're on the East Coast, get your essentials. You know what I mean? Don't be out there trying to slip and slide. If you
Pause.
do, no. If or I guess do be out there trying to slip and slide if you're in the house. But if you're outside the house, don't be out there trying to slip and slide. If you do, call your neighborhood friendly tow man. Yeah, I'm right here for you. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
He's gonna
Hell to
slip
the
into
W.
your DMs. I don't have that problem because we are on countdown watch. But appreciate y'all. Thanks for coming in the chat. We'll do this again. Had some good numbers. Appreciate y'all. So till next time, Sanchez 405. We keep that same energy. We outlast best together. And as always, love, peace, hell. Talk to you next time. It's 10 years of On the Warpath. Woo! Let's go. Till next time, y'all. We out of here. Play my
Hell
theme
to the
music.
W, baby.